Okay, this bit is 7 keys of facilitation, and it's things to think about while you're facilitating. Listening. Listen carefully to the group and show that you understand. That can include repeating back partially what they've said and making sure that they're aware that you know what they've talked about and that it's been heard. Otherwise, they're likely to keep saying the same thing again and again, trying to be... And enable the group to listen actively to each other. Make sure that there's a space where everybody can listen to everybody else. Okay, the next key is visual methods. Keep the minutes on the wall where everybody can see them, so people can see what is happening, what decisions have been made, and they're not left unsure what you've decided. Make sure it's legible, make sure people can read what you've said, otherwise they're probably being invisible. Type up the flip charts and notes as soon as possible so that people can take action on things, so that people know what to do with what's happened. And use a variety of things that people can look at as well as listen, so you're accounting for different styles of learning. A nice visual method, for instance, is a sticky wall. Next key is brainstorming. And something to do here is be clear when you're brainstorming and when you're seeking consensus, and make sure the group is clear. The difference is that if you're brainstorming, any idea is valid, you're trying to get as many ideas as possible. If you're seeking consensus, you're trying to work out which ideas you all agree on and bring those together. So that is quantity, not quality. So you suspend criticism. Later you'll filter the ideas into ones that are actually workable, ones you can use, ones you can do something with. Unusual ideas are welcome. They might help make more breakthroughs. They might make you think about something you wouldn't have thought about. They might make you think in a way you hadn't thought of about the problem. And when brainstorming, write what you hear. Don't write what you think they heard, write what the thing is that they said, and make sure you're getting all the ideas. Okay, the next key is planning. And I've written PPPP beside that because you need to think about people, you need to think about purpose, you need to think about process, and then you need to think about the practicalities. So, people, purpose, and then process, which works for that group and for what you're trying to achieve. You want to consider the aims as hard outputs and the things you want people to feel afterwards. So you're thinking about both of those. You need to plan and prepare all the practicalities, how the room's set up, how the room look, how people are seated, to make sure it will run smoothly when you do it. And when possible, plan with someone else. It's always better to get more ideas, more perspectives on how it might work and what you want to achieve and what the best way to do that is. As you'll have noticed, the previous keys have disappeared. That's because they were blowing away. So the fifth key is focus. And the focus of the facilitator is on the process. They need to be thinking about how things are working so that the group can think about the decision they're making. It will be tempting as a facilitator to get involved in the decision, involved in the discussion. They need to balance that with thinking about, is everybody able to be involved? How are people listening to each other? Do we need to take a break? Are people hungry? What do I need to think about here? They need to keep the group focused on topic and making sure that they're staying on what you're talking about. When the group wanders, a useful tool is a parking lot, which is just a big piece of paper on the wall where you can say, okay, that's something we do need to talk about, but what we're talking about now is this. So I'll put it in the parking lot, and that's something that enables the person who thought it to think, yes, this is being covered, I am being listened to, and means they can stop thinking and worrying about that and get back on with the discussion that the whole group is having. Okay, next thing, key 6 is dealing with group dynamics and how the group's working. Allow everyone to speak who wants to. That doesn't mean allowing one person to say everything they want to. It's allowing everybody who has something to say to be able to say something, and everybody who doesn't have something to say to be able to not say something, but making sure that anyone who wanted to say something feels that they can. There's no such thing as a difficult participant, but there is difficult behaviour, and perhaps means their needs aren't being met at the meeting. That's something to think about, is why are they behaving like this, and how can I make it so they're behaving more constructively and in a way that makes the group work better. It's not always your responsibility to handle difficult situations. Sometimes it's good for a group to resolve a difficult situation and difficult behaviour itself, and that might make the group stronger and able to solve problems better on its own in the future. Previously agreed ground rules can help with difficult situations. That's something that you can put together at the beginning of the meeting, think about how you want to live the meeting, what principles you want it to work by, and that's something you can then refer to as something you've all agreed and talked about. So it isn't you imposing rules, it's rules that the group decided and the group agreed to and that the group wants to work by. The seventh key is consensus. And again, as with brainstorming, be clear when you're brainstorming and when you're seeking consensus, and make sure the group is clear. Make sure they know we're trying to find decisions here, or we're trying to find ideas. Consensus doesn't come from you, it comes from the group. You can't say, we've all agreed X, if the group doesn't agree that. You can say, I think I hear, which is quite a nice phrasing, I think I hear that everybody thinks we should have biscuits. And then the group can then correct you if you're wrong. Listen for the agreement and then state what the agreement is. So try and work out where the agreement lies between people. If they're saying things that seem different, sometimes you might help them dig down underneath positions to find underlying values or beliefs that are in agreed. So they might think that it's very important that we protect children and make sure that they are looked after and safe, but they might have very different ways of agreeing that. But it's helpful to state, okay, we both agree that this is really important, and it's good to spot consensus and to think about where it lies and make sure the group is thinking about, we actually agree on quite a lot, rather than we're never going to reach something we all like.